In this video, I will be teaching you how to add coils to your coil vase. There are two different ways, and here is the first. You're going to start off with a coil, which you've already learned how to do in a previous video. And now you are going to take your hand and flatten it out. Then I would suggest putting it on the edge of a table to assist in scoring and slipping that bottom edge. In this case, all we're doing is scoring. Remember, this is the second day after you've made your pinch pot, and it's super important to score and slip. After you have scored and slipped both the coil and your pinch pot, I want you to take a look at your sketch. Make sure that you're going to add your coil at a suitable angle. So you can see here, I'm showing how to do it in or out depending on your sketch. So in my sketch, my coil is going out. So when I attach it, I'm going to make sure I help myself out and already attach it at an angle. Once it's wrapped around, you can use a needle tool to cut through and make sure that it's the right size. After you have cut it, make sure that you score and slip both edges together so it creates a seamless circle. Once you've scored and slipped your coil onto your pinch pot, you can start to knit your coil into your pot. Basically, this just removes the seams and really secures that coil onto your pot. Remember that when you do this, you always want one hand inside or outside to support the other hand that is smearing the coil down. You can see in this video, my left hand is along the outside supporting it as I go. After you do that, it's time to refine the form by pinching it and all the way around. Make sure that you have the same even pressure all the way around and at the same angle to keep your pot symmetrical. After you're done pinching it around, you can go ahead and use a wooden tool to scrape it as you move it around and around on the banding wheel. Keeping the wooden tool at the same angle will help keep it symmetrical. Now we're going to take a look at the second way you can add a coil. This one is actually my personal favorite. Now remember, this is the day after I made my pinch pot, so it's still really important that you score and slip the edges and a little bit along the outside of your pinch pot. Now that you have it scored and slipped, we can add the coil. So for this one, we're going to use a regular round coil, and instead of putting it directly on top, we're going to put it a little bit along the edge. Doing this allows me to take the index finger of my left hand and my thumb and pinch them together in order to secure that coil onto the base pinch pot. After you have pinched it on, it's once again you want to knit that coil into the base. Go ahead and take one hand and support it on the inside as you take your other hand and smear that coil down into the pinch pot. Just like the first method, now you're going to refine the form by pinching it with even pressure, also using the angle in which you want the pot to go. This is why keeping your sketch out in front of you is so important. After you've knitted the coil onto the base, you can refine the form. Now notice with this pot, I decided to use the metal rib instead. Using the metal rib allows it to conform to the shape a little better. Instead of using a straight side, I can bend it to accommodate the curve. I just used the wooden tool there to kind of clean up the bottom shape. So one of the key things I also want you to do throughout this process is to continue to imagine the form. Where are you going with your vase? What do you need to do next to make sure it's the right size? All right, that's it. I hope you have fun.